My next guest takes on Solo Hatley Jr. coming up here at LFA 67 on May 24th. It is Teejay Britton joining me here on the program for the very first time. TJ, how are you?
I'm busy. I'm blessed, brother. How about yourself?
I'm blessed as well. Love doing these interviews, and great to get a chance to talk to you, my man. I see you're in the car. Where am I getting you right now? Where are you headed to?
I'm actually on my way from Oklahoma. Had a training session this morning and pulled to the side of the road and just kind of waiting. My nephew plays football at NEO junior college, and so I'm stopping in. He's taking a final. We're going to take him out to lunch and then go get some more training in.
There we go. That's a good uncle right there. And I'm glad to see you're not driving because I don't want to get anyone in trouble here while we're doing this
Oh,
interview,
no.
which is good to hear. Let's start from the beginning. When did combat sports come on your radar? How did you get involved in combat sports?
Well, actually, I grew up. My father, he boxed a lot growing up, and so I've been around boxing. I grew up in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and so probably got in a lot of fights growing up. I shouldn't have. And when I went to college to play basketball, I ended up playing pro basketball overseas. When I came back, my agent was telling me, he said, "I don't want you to get injured playing, so you got to do something to keep you in shape." And so my dad said, "Why don't you go to a boxing gym? That's pretty good cardio." And so I walked in the gym and started boxing, and the trainer pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, man, you got a heavy left hand, man, and I think you got a future in the sport." And he kind of planted the seed, and here we are now, some years later, fighting.
How did you find the conditioning when you moved over to MMA? Because I hear it's a lot different.
It's definitely a lot different. I ran professional track as well. I ran track All American in track as well. So I was always big on taking care of myself, my body, physically, mentally, and just being in shape. But it's definitely a different cardio. If you don't work on it, because you're working every muscle, and muscles that you forgot that you had. It's straining. It can strain you mentally and physically, but I love it. I enjoy it, man.
When did you become a fan of the sport? Did that take place when you were starting to train, or did that come before?
I've always been a fan of the sport. Always. I got the UFC one still at my home. On VH1. So, I've always been a fan of the sport. I've never had a dream to do it. I always kind of want to do it on my bucket list. And but man, I never miss them. And and now here I am with the reality of doing it. It's a blessing. It's pretty cool.
Along with fighting, what else pays the bills for you right now? What do you do for work?
I'm a director at Victory Ministries and Sports Complex here in Joplin, Missouri. You can check that out at victoryjoplin.com. I'm also a youth minister. I do a lot of motivational speaking. I go to different colleges, man, different universities, high schools, and speak. I've had a crazy past growing up, so God's really opened up a lot of doors for me to do that. I really enjoy that a lot. And of course, fighting and training. I got a lot of sponsors. I got people reach out to me to sponsor me, so that's a blessing, man. And I love to fight. I love to fight. I love it. So
And I think that's so cool. You have a variety of different things that you do because I know sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter how much you love something, it can get a bit tedious. So that's good that you have other outlets as well. And I'm sure, those tough days in the gym, working with kids and things like that, you're probably like, it kind of puts things in perspective.
absolutely, absolutely. And I got a lot of friends, that fight in the UFC, and they talk about money situations, money problems, and for me, it's like, I support my family, and I just don't want. I love fighting, but I don't want the money to be stressful. I think it's a stressful part for a lot of the fighters. I don't worry about the money part. That's a bonus really for what I do. I got a full-time job, which I love doing, so it's really not work. You know what I'm saying? And so fighting is just a bonus part for me.
Okay. Let's talk about your last fight. I know things didn't go your way in that one against Josh Marsh, but you always learn more from a loss than a win. What did you take away from that performance?
Well, I took being healthy for granted. I've always been healthy, never really, besides breaking my hand a few times, never really got hurt. In the first minute, I think of that fight, I threw a very light knee and ended up dislocating my kneecap. But I tried to fight on. I threw a front kick, and when the teep kick landed, I felt like my whole leg just went numb. I couldn't really feel it, and so I tried to fight off my back leg. Just got caught. I don't make any excuses. Shout outs to Josh, man, great win. I respect him. Like he actually came to me after the fight. I was like, man, I knew you kind of got hurt. And I'm like, man, that's a part of the sport. But in the other fights, man, I've always fought through things. And but that time, I took what I had for granted. I'm like, man, I'm pretty healthy. And we actually thought we were gonna. They thought since I dislocated my kneecap, they thought that I may have torn my ACL or my LCL. because when they drained it, it had fluid and blood in the fluid. But man, I was truly blessed to not have any of that. I had to stay off of for about 6 weeks. Came back and had a pro boxing match and done well there. Now I'm back 100%. This is the best I've ever felt, man. So May 24th, you don't want to miss it, man. You're gonna see fireworks.
And it's a great opponent you got here too in Hatley Jr. He's got a 5-1 record. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
I like the matchup. He's very athletic, very explosive, a lot of power, very well rounded. He's a grinder, and I like that a lot. So he's young, he's 22. He's got the cockiness, the arrogance. But I'm just a humble guy. I'm a four-sport pro athlete. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to be an athletic person. I think I'm the most athletic he'll ever see. I hit hard. I like this matchup. I'm 6'4". I'm fighting somebody 5'6", 5'7". I got the reach. I know his game plan's gonna be come in. Nobody's gonna want to stand and bang with me. I hit too hard, and I'm just too long as well. And I'm pretty. I want to stay pretty.
For
Uh,
sure, yeah.
so I like the matchup. I respect my opponent a lot, but that's where the line draws. When we're in the cage, all that goes out the window. I don't watch a whole lot of film because I'm 6'4". He's not gonna fight me like he fight everybody else. I anticipate him coming in and closing the distance and trying to keep it in there. And I'm fine fighting there as well. So I'm very well rounded. I'm very comfortable. This is the best fight camp I felt health wise, and so you'll see a show. You'll see a show.
Who have been some of the people that have been helping you get ready for this fight?
Ryan Mossberg, my boxing coach, Mossberg Boxing, got his shirt on. Shout out to Ryan. Man, he's from Bella Vista, Arkansas. Just amazing hands guy. I got Insane Sam Robertson. He does my wrestling. He's also a fighter as well. He'll be fighting on the undercard for LFA as amateur. Just knows how to put things together. He's been around me since I started. So, and then I have my head coach, Jerry Walker, who's been there from, when I first walked in the gym and said, I want to do this, he'd been by my side, you know what I'm saying? And then, so I think I got the right people around me. And then you got like Gerald Harris, you have, dude named Aaron Robinson, fought for Bellator and LFA, you know what I'm saying? Kansas City, Glory MMA with James Krause. Tim, those guys always be a blessing. Zach coming, they always invite me to come in. And so I got a lot of people that helped me out this fight.
That's great. So you get a lot of different looks by the sounds of it, going to different gyms and doing different things. So, I mean, which is great for the fight because no matter where the fight goes, you've been sort of already prepared for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. That's great. And how about the cut? How's that going ahead of this matchup?
Man, 45 is a breeze for me, honestly. I'm truly a 35er. But it's always a problem finding someone to fight me at 35. And so for the last year or two, we've moved. We've had 20, I think it's 28 guys back out. I think LFA 2 years ago we went through 12 opponents. Yeah, and then last year, actually when I fought March, I was supposed to be fighting at 35. My guy backed out 2 weeks before. I was already at weight. I was at 42, and so I actually had to go back up weight a little bit to fight him, which is, I think weight is, I think weight is cool, but I feel more comfortable at 35. 45 is an easy cut for me, and so weight cut's always going good, going easy. We always pride ourselves on making the weight.
You don't see many fighters that tall competing at that weight class. Do you have to cut a lot of weight, or is it just your frame that you're just naturally a pretty kind of tall guy that can make the weight?
Well, I got a pretty, pretty good frame on me. A lot of people, they always say you're a lot bigger than you look. I thought you'd be a string bean. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a mixture of both, honestly.
Interesting. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I have Jerry Walker, my head coach. I have Ryan Mossberg from Mossberg Boxing. I have Insane Sam Robertson. So those three will be in my corner. You'll hear them loud. We know what to do. It's nothing new to us. We'll come out, we'll grind, and we'll make it happen.
How do you see this fight playing out on May 24th?
My hand being raised. It could go either way. On the ground, stand up. First round, second round, third round. I really feel like this fight's for me. I think, I'm tired of people backing out of fights. I respect this young man because I know he's going to show up. I know he's going to fight. He's a heck of a fighter. It's going to be a big win for either one of us. But I just think this is my night. I like the cockiness, but that just humbles me and makes me want to grind harder and fight harder. And I love you. I love LFA. But after this fight, I want to put a demand on the fight to where I either get a title shot or UFC calls me up. I'm tired of people backing out. I want to go back down to 35, but I'll stay at 45 and push people around there as well.
What if Contender Series came about? Because again, you've got a good record, and that seems like the type of record they would probably bring you on there.
Yeah, and they know who I am. I was an alternate for the undefeated UFC fight show.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I was actually I made the cut, and then they cut down the fighters. And when they done that, I only had 3 fights at the time, and so they said, hey, you're gonna be an alternate, and if someone would got hurt, I would have stepped in. So they know who I am. They know who I am, and I know who they are. I've talked to them, and so I wouldn't mind. I think I had the opportunity to fight for the Contender Center. My name popped up, but I hurt my knee, so we had to decline that. But I like to get a call up. I really do. I'll fight wherever, but I like to get a call up. Just go straight to it. That would be that would what I would love to do. But I'll take whatever step I need to take.
What are your hobbies outside of fighting and your work and everything like that? What do you like doing on your downtime?
Honestly, man, just spending time with my family. I got my nephews with me all the time, and we're playing video games and talking stuff. We're a very competitive family. I got my kids with me, spending time. Just really, I mean, because I'm going so much speaking and preaching and fighting and training that when I get downtime, man, I just like to relax. I love to eat, different type of foods and travel and things like that.
Excellent, man. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's coming up here May 24th. It is LFA 67. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be on Access TV. TJ, it was great finally talking to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it. And when I get to the UFC, I want to have another interview
You
because
better
I say
believe
I
it.
told
Yeah.
you I'll be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of this year. You can find me on Facebook at TJ Britton and also TJ Bad News Britton, Badnez. You can find me on Instagram at TJ Bad News Britton as well. And and then I want to thank my wife, who holds it down while I'm doing all the traveling and training and work fresh for taking care of my meals. Man, just so many. The Throne, they've been good to me. Mossberg Boxing. Um, Man, I'm going crazy here. Just so many. I don't want to forget them all. But all my sponsors, Trench Brothers Graphics, they've been a blessing. He's done all my shorts, my tights, my banners, my shirts. We do a lot with the shirts. We sell a lot of shirts, fight shirts, probably about 200, 250 fight, and we give that money back to a ministry or donate to a family that needs it in need, and or a camp with kids with cancer and camp quality. Pain relief. Dr. Greg, he does a lot of my chiropractic things like that. Earth Labs does all my vitamins and things like that. I mean, just so many different, man. Calvary Chapel, Pastor Jeff Kingery, my mentors at Roper Kia, Jeff Frost, Misty Frost. They're amazing people. Without them, I honestly probably wouldn't be fighting. He pushes me to my purpose, my family, and man, whoever else. I'm sure I'm forgetting. I got so many sponsors. I'm sure I'm forgetting some of them, but all my sponsors, I want to thank them. Thank you again for your time. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll be tuning in, man. I'll give you a shout out, and yeah, we'll go from there.